this was our place last night. We all slept really well. Bullfrog was going to stay out on the field out here. He had pitched up just kind of to the right of that little post right there, not quite on the edge of that little area, but then he started seeing some thunder and lightning, so he decided he would come on back indoors. I don't know that it ever did storm last night, but it was the safe thing to do. One of the things we noticed this morning is looking out over this valley, and I'm going to try to take some pictures when we get out towards the ridge. The fog has settled in down there. It looks just like a lake down in the bottoms down in there. That's just absolutely stunning. This has been one of the nicest views of any place that we've stayed yet. And we're going to hopefully have a pretty nice day of ridge walking today. We're going to do about 12 and a half or almost 13 miles, I believe. And we're about ready to get started. It's not quite 8 o'clock yet, it's 7:45. And we'll be moving here just shortly. So we'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, we're about to head out this morning. And wanted to show you the cloud cover down there in the low spots. It's absolutely incredible. Great view this morning, and we're looking forward to having a wonderful, wonderful day here. We'll go back out here to the sun and hang a left and go out up over that little hill there, and we'll be off in the woods on the ridgeline for a while. So we'll talk to you soon. We've been out for about an hour this morning, an hour and a half. It's about 9:30, not quite. We stopped at the water source about 2 miles from the shelter and filled everything up, because I don't think we've got water again until we get to our shelter tonight. So got about 10 miles till we get to water. And I don't want to repeat of yesterday where I got dehydrated and passed out. But at any rate, good day of hiking. I walked on out in front of the bunch. I think Snow Cream's behind me somewhere. Kind of bumped back into him. We're not officially hiking together, but we seem to be winding up on top of each other, which is just fine. And Gavin stayed back with Ken and Bullfrog for a little bit, and he's going to hike with them some today. So I'm going to just come out in the front and walk my own pace and know that there's people behind me, and just see where we wind up. Pretty day of hiking today. We got a little bit of rocks in the trail, but not horrible, and they're manageable. We for the longest time hiked around thigh deep nettles on either side of the trail, but they seem to not be bothering me. I don't know whether they have to flower before they start being an aggravation, or if I'm just being really lucky. But whichever way it is, I'll go with it for now. They've not bothered me at all. So easy walk today so far, and I think we're going to have that most of the day, just kind of up and down on a ridgeline. We did see a couple of snakes at the water stop. There was a log down. We thought first there was just one, and then one of them crawled out from underneath as we were getting ready to go, but I didn't have my camera at there ready to get a picture or a video of it. We're not really sure what kind they were. Pretty sure they weren't copperheads, which is good. I just as soon steer clear of the venomous snakes for the time being. But they look kind of like that anyway. But Bullfrog said he did see the head of one of them, and it was certainly not a pit viper. So I don't know. He said corn snake, but I'm pretty sure that corn snakes are black, yellow, and red. So I'm gonna have to do some looking up. I maybe got a decent picture of one. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look and see. And if I did, we'll send it to iNaturalist and see what they have to say about it. We'll talk to you soon. And just look at these ferns. These are a new variety. I haven't seen them before. They're about waist high, and the sun's glinting off of them, and they're gorgeous. I guess everything out here is gorgeous. I do need a new adjective. Working on that. I'll have to get some signal and look up synonyms. Get a thesaurus somewhere and find some new superlatives. But the trail today is just really, really nice. It's flat for the most part, nothing too strenuous. I may be doing a 2.5 mile an hour pace right now, especially on this flatter stuff. Not trying to leave everybody behind. I just thought I'd walk out. So just sort of see what I can do. I know that Gavin could do the same thing, but he wanted to hang back and hike with Bullfrog for a little bit, and I can respect that because they've become good friends. So it's all good. So I'm gonna wander on down the road here and see what all else there is to be seen today. Well, I just about walked past that, but if you can see, I'm sure you can because I can see it. Right there to the right of my pole, that's a deer track. And I think there's another one maybe right there, it's hard to tell. But I'm just kind of wandering along the trail here today. I just stopped. I've been about an hour from the water source, and I made about 3.5 miles. That's probably the fastest pace, but that's kind of a testament to the type of trail that we're dealing with today. It's pretty flat and had a little bit of rocks, but not bad. And I made some adjustments to my pack. Well, that deer is still, I'm still seeing a few deer tracks going through, so maybe I'll see the deer before I'm done. But anyway, I made a few adjustments to my pack, and that seems to be making a difference in the way that it's feeling and riding. And it's much better at hiking today. Got a lot more water on board this morning than I had yesterday so that I don't get dehydrated again, because that was pretty awful. But I'm gonna go about another, I've forgotten, I think it was about a mile. There's a campsite up here, and it looks like it's got a place that I could sit down and spread out and eat. I didn't want to drop my pack in all this grass, and the rock that I was sitting on back there was not terrifically comfortable either. So I'm just going to wander on down the road, and I'll stop and eat here just in a little bit, and head on towards the shelter for this evening. Right now it's about 7.8 miles out. A pretty long day for us. I think it was almost 13. I think it was 12.8 or 9. And I've got a decent amount of that behind me already, so that's kind of nice. So anyway, I'll ring off and walk on up the trail, or down the trail right now, and we'll check in with you shortly. Well, that's a trail blaze right here. I've only come a few feet from where I just let off. I just came out of the woods right down there and came through this open area, and I think I'm about to have a view going up ahead. Maybe, a little bit of one anyway. We'll see what we see. I still see some deer tracks in this soft dirt. It's kind of interesting. I'm hoping I'll wander up on one. We'll see. Got kind of an open area here, and yep, there's some views right there. Pretty nice views. I think that's kind of the same area that we saw last night from the campsite, from the area where we were. But, nice views. There's a campsite right here. I wonder if this is the one I was aiming for. I don't know. That would be a good place to sit down and eat some lunch, though. To check my app and see what it says. So we'll touch base with you shortly. All right, we're gonna take a chance because I saw a squirrel on that tree right there just now. But I suspect he's long gone because I think he saw me too. Yeah, I don't see him anymore. He's gone. So we got some rocks today, but they've been manageable. I've been able to find a flat spot to put my feet, but yeah, that's the kind right there. Whoops, there it is, right there. Sharp and pointy. But I've been able to avoid most of those, so that's been a blessing. I'm walking on out to a campsite to have some lunch. I thought that the forest was going to open up and the trail would open up, but maybe I'm just not there yet. Shouldn't be too long though. Looks like there was a couple of places to sit down. They had some logs by the fire ring, so I could sit down and relax a little bit and eat some lunch and refuel and move on up the trail a little further. Continuing right along here. Still haven't seen the deer whose feet left tracks in the mud. I'm kind of disappointed in that because those tracks were fresh enough. I really kind of thought I'd see it if I walked slowly and quietly, which I did for a little while. But no such luck as of yet. And I'm sure that if I do see him, I probably will not have my phone out, which is going to be disappointing because I really do want to take some good wildlife pictures. So anyway, we'll hope that I see some deer maybe when I stop for lunch. Who knows? All right, we'll talk to you soon. All righty, still moving along. I have had my lunch. I stopped at a little trail crossing. There was a southbound slackpacker heading out. He was finishing his lunch, so I chatted with him a little bit. And while I was there, Gavin called up with me. I thought that I easily had 45 minutes to an hour on him and Snow Cream, but they both showed up before I finished my lunch. So it's only about 15 or 20 minutes ahead of them, which means that they're hiking hard today because I hiked pretty hard this morning. I did about 3.5 miles in an hour for the first little bit off the water source. So that's just awesome that they're hiking so well today. The train has been awesome, and right now we're doing pretty well, except for some little rocks that we got to step around and try to make sure where we put our feet, but otherwise we're good. So on up the trail, we're about a little over halfway. We have about 6 miles to go to the shelter. And theoretically, the way we've hiked today, that could be 2 hours, depending on the terrain from here on in. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe have a fairly long hike and a pretty early day of it. So that'd be kind of nice. I thought I'd show you this rock formation that we're hiking by. I knew the trail was going to bite us at some point today, and now is that time. We're going uphill a little bit. It's not a big one. We can take it slow and keep moving. But anyway, these rock formations are pretty nice. Here's Gavin up the road. And I stopped here. Just noticed this little worm right there. Can you see him? Right there at the tip of my paw. If I touch him, he wiggles a little bit. I would imagine if a tree touched me, I would wiggle a little bit too. But, you know, just one of the many things that we see a lot of those things on the trail. I don't know what they're called. I think Gavin knows. I've forgotten what he called it. A roly-poly or roly worm, or I don't remember now. I have to ask him. But we're going up the road. Well, this is where the trail has brought us for the moment. We're stopping and resting a little bit. We just conquered a pretty good uphill, and thankfully things flattened out through this little glade right here. And it's very peaceful. The wind's blowing through. I hope that doesn't mean that it's going to thunderstorm any. I don't know that it will. Looks like the sun's out and doing pretty well up this way. I don't see any real signs of storms, but we'll just be safe about it. We've got about 3 miles to get to the shelter for the evening, and that'll put make the end of a almost 13-mile day, I think. Oh, Gavin says 4. Oh, I thought you said 3 miles.
It was 3.9.
3.9, okay, my bad. So not nearly as far as it has been, so we're gonna wander on and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, I don't know if you could see that or not. There was a snake in the trail. Got a couple of pictures, but no video because he moved, which is fine with me. Yeah, Gav says he still sees him. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see him up there now. Right there. Gavin, please leave it alone, son. I don't want it to move. I'd like to take a picture of it. Pretty cool. He's just sunning. It's all good. We'll go on up the trail and leave him alone, because this is his place and not ours. Well, just came out of the woods, or out of the woods into more woods. It's really odd how the scenery changes just on a dime out here. We were just out there in a nice greenery area, and then just stepped right into this pine forest area. And there's the Allegheny Trail going up that way, and the Appalachian Trail heads on down this way. We're about 2.5 miles from our shelter tonight, and we're gonna head on down that way, and we'll see you when we get there. Alrighty, I'm about half a mile from the shelter, and came upon this little stream right here. But then there's another one right there beside of it. It's a pretty good wide thing, and the water's running incredibly well. Let me see if I can take the sun out of the picture a little bit. I don't know whether that helps any or not, but wow, that little puddle right there is just rolling. It's pretty nice, and they join back together, I think, right down here in a pretty heavy-duty little spring. I'm going to step across over here and check this other one out. All right, so this one's more in the shade, and it's running just as well. So definitely the mountain stream of the day. This is about the only water we've seen of substance, except for we did have a little spring that we got some water from about 2 miles from our campsite. So water is a welcome sight, and I understand we're going to have water at the shelter up here about half a mile or so as well. So I'll show you that when we get there. For now, I'm going to head on down the trail.